What's going on, everybody? Jeremy with Detroit Tech. I bought the Control from Drop keyboard a little while ago, TKL keyboard. You can check out that review over here. Like I said, TKL board, and I love the smaller footprint coming from a bigger, like full size or even larger board. And I checked out a 60% board a little while ago, and I did like it. It just was missing. It was just missing too many keys for me. I need the arrow keys and a couple of the navigation, home, and delete, the usual stuff. So the deeper I delved into the keyboard market, I realized that 65% was probably going to be the best way for me to go. And going even further, I saw the massive potential in the custom keyboard market. But instead of buying a board and doing just like a mod for the stabs or something, I figured I'd just go for it immediately, full out. This is my TOFU 65 from KDB Fans. So this won't be a full like how-to kind of video. This is my first keyboard I built from the ground up, and want to just kind of give you a walkthrough really what you can expect, especially if it's your first time like it was for me. Now there's a couple of reasons I went with KDB Fans. Relatively speaking, they're less expensive than other ones out there. And even if stuff doesn't stay in stock very long, in general, it's quicker to get the parts. And if anything, I'm really impatient once I decide to buy something. I want it like yesterday. I decided on the TOFU 65 in particular for a couple of reasons. One, it was in stock. Two, while the PCB that comes with the kit, the KBD 67 Rev 2, does have underglow RGB LEDs, I didn't really want any lighting on this build. And then third, I wanted a metal case, not acrylic. And the TOFU comes with this big brass weight on the bottom too. So it's gonna be like a chunker. I was super excited. The other big reason I went with KBD Fans is the kits are great. It really helps when you can get all of the main parts together instead of like accidentally buying the wrong PCB, then having of course to wait an ungodly amount of time for it to ship or come back in stock or for a different group buy or whatever. I completely understand why so many people say to start there at KBD Fans for your first build. By the way, this is not sponsored by KBD Fans. So once I ordered, it took about a week or so for it to ship, and then another 7-10 days, something like that, for it to arrive. I really can't remember exactly. The kit comes with the aluminum case, aluminum plate, PCB, rubber feet, and then like the screws and stuff. The switches I also got from KBD, and I went with the Kale Pro Burgundy. Pro, I think it's the Pro moniker means that they're plate mounted, but they're linear switches, 50 gram and 1.7 millimeter actuation. And then there's a 3.6 millimeter total travel. I have the Kale Speed silver switches on my Control, and I really do like them. So I kind of wanted something similar, but maybe a little less easy to accidentally trigger when I'm just kind of resting my hands there. Next, I need to figure out what keycaps I was gonna get. And I ended up getting this set here from KBD Fans again. And since I got the red aluminum case, there weren't that many keycaps that I really felt went well with it. I tried to get the GMK Home set, but none were really available, or they cost more than the keyboard. One of the two. Now, some people may be jealous, but this build took about 2 months to complete. But if KBD Fans got everything to me pretty quickly, why did it take so long? Lube. I ordered some and then it never came. Then I ordered some more from a different seller, and it's been like 6 weeks and it's still in transport to the country of destination. Ultimately, I was checking out Zeal screw and stabilizers, which I ended up getting. Saw they had some Krytox 205 grade 0 in stock. A week later, I finally had my lube and stabs. So of course, that evening I took 3 hours and lubed the switches. I may have been able to do it a little bit quicker, but of course it was my first time. I just wanted to take my time and do it right. The next day, took some time to lube, install the stabilizers, and get all the switches in place in the plate to get ready for soldering, which of course would have to be the next day. I did take like an electronics class like 8 years ago, so I'm vaguely familiar with soldering. This was definitely the part I was really nervous about, but sat down, took my time with a few. I really kind of got into the groove, and overall it really only took about 45 minutes to an hour to really get it all done. Plugged it into my computer to test it, and every switch worked. Thank the Lord. The solders may not be perfect, but it still works, so success in my book. So take it, screw it into the case, put the keycaps on, and here we are. It's my first build. So thanks to Brian P at Bad C Tech, I downloaded VIA to test and configure the layout. The default layout is having like page up, page down, delete, and I think there was maybe a home button, something else. But since I've been working from home for the past, 3-4 months, I don't even know at this point, I need to have home and delete, just the way it works in my workflow. I added page up just kind of for extra convenience, I guess. I may switch that up a little bit, bring like shift things down a little bit, or the page down, and everything else up. We'll see. The key switches are a little uneven here as I'm using different row profiles than where they're meant to be, but honestly, I'm okay with it. I'm still keeping my eyes open for the perfect keycap set for this build. These are PBT, which I do like, and it's dye sublimated. I like the PBT, but again, the Hamon kit, even though it's ABS, I think will go really perfectly with this case. And also, I like Spanish ham. But I mean, I'm super happy with this build. All told, it weighs 1,463 grams or 3 pounds, 3.6 ounces. It's heavier than the Control, which was my previous board again. The lubricated switches are amazing. I went from this sound to this sound. I mean, that's nice. That's really nice. I don't really notice any super stiff or softer spots on the board while typing. I may start to notice them, but for now, it's really, really awesome. I may have over lubed a couple of the switches, and the spacebar feels a tad sluggish. That might be because of some of the dielectric grease in the stabilizers. That doesn't really affect my typing or anything. It doesn't like stay pressed down. It still responds back up. I did some gaming on it, and while the actuation travel is a bit longer than the KL speed switches, I didn't notice any difference in reaction. I guess I'm just not quite elite enough to notice. Oh, and the stabs. I haven't really had experience with a bunch of different stabilizers, but Zeal seems to have completely figured it out. Here's a comparison of the Control like clip-in stabs and the Zeal screw-in stabs. So nice, right? Since the Control is hot swappable though, I'm probably gonna be lubing those switches, and if I ever go back to like actually work in the office, I'll take it in. It'll be better than the what do I have? The unlubed cherry reds that I do have. I do still notice just a little bit of scratchiness, but it's my first lubing on the switches, so I'm assuming it's just gonna get better with time. And all in all, this board costs around $300, and that's with a pretty cheap keycap set at less than $40 with shipping from KBD. If you're gonna go for a higher end kit like something from GMK, you're looking at over $100 for keycaps. Plus, I already had a soldering iron, so I didn't have to buy that. It's definitely an expensive hobby, but if you care about like your keyboard and what you're typing on all day, every day, it is a really satisfying experience. I get to use something I built and soldered myself. I love it. It will be featured very prominently once I get my new desk set up together, so get subscribed for that. In the meantime, I've ordered a new cable from Met Cables, so it will actually match, and I'm gonna see if I can find some Hamon sets out there for a reasonable price. But yeah, if you have the money to spare, I strongly suggest building a custom board at least once. Yes, lubing the switches is time consuming and a bit mind numbing, and the soldering is a little intimidating if you don't do it all the time, but it's totally worth it. Even if you never do it again and just, pay someone else to lube and build it, I'd say do it at least once. No matter how many other keyboards I get, this one will always sit in a place of prominence in my house as my first. Thanks for watching, everybody. If this video was helpful, hit the thumbs up and subscribe. Let us know in the comments below if you're looking to build a custom keyboard or if you want to sell me your Hamon keycap set, and we'll catch you in the next one.
And it goes like